hello, and welcome back to Strategy Snacks. I'm Frenchie Ferenzi. I'm a business strategist and advisor. And today we are going to dive into a really great question that I got from one of our listeners. So, Tina Hamilton is a healing parent coach. Okay, starting over. Hello, and welcome back to Strategy Snacks. I'm Frenchie Ferenzi. I'm a business strategist and advisor. And today we are going to dive into a really great question that I got from Tina Hamilton, who is a healing parent coach. She supports moms along their healing journey, helping them break cycles of generational trauma and release the rage so they can be the mom and woman they want to be. I can so relate to that ragey feeling. And I totally, yeah, I think it's so great. There are people out there talking about this because it's so real and often underrepresented. So Tina brought us a question that is on so many people's minds. And what she asks is about Instagram, right? And I think we all love to hate Instagram, and yet we also find ourselves really wrapped up in it. So, Tina's question is, I am struggling to understand how to grow my IG engagement and encourage my followers to take the next step in the customer journey. I've been growing my IG account slowly by posting consistently and fine tuning my message, but I haven't seemed to figure out the secret to getting people from follower to subscriber to client. And no one is really engaging with my stories. What's the secret? Before I dive into my thoughts on this, I want to preface this by saying I am not an IG expert, right? And I think that there is a certain level of expertise required. And my friend Sophia Para is amazing at this. So definitely check her out. So, the thing that I really want to hone in on here is the distinction between push marketing and pull marketing. And I think that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, even 3 years ago, frankly, you could get onto IG and just push so much content out there and your organic growth would eventually take off as long as it wasn't total garbage. And today, it is very difficult for that to happen, right? You can push all the content you want out there, but it is just so flooded with content that getting your content seen is just harder and harder. So, for starters, I just want to really set the stage for that because I think that sometimes we're like, wait, everyone else is doing it. Typically, people who've started in the past 2 years have not had that same experience. Now, when I think about Instagram and the role that it can play in your business, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. So, first of all, there's this idea of push marketing, which is very much like the content marketing, right? You put content out there, and the goal is that people respond, and their response is either to subscribe to your email list or to buy your things. Now, that works sometimes, but the real effort and the real opportunity is in pull marketing. So, pull marketing is actually when you are actively bringing people into your world. And what does that look like? That looks like bringing people into events and workshops. That looks like DMing people voice messages and actually starting conversations and inviting them to get on calls with you. Pull marketing is less scalable, quote unquote, but especially as you're building, so essential. So, first, before we get into IG and all the frustrations there, I really just want to set that distinction because I think what we forget to do is that we forget to create the content, but then, or no, we remember to create the content, but we forget to engage. We forget to turn the people who are behind the likes and the comments and the blah, blah, blah into real people who have real needs. So that's one thing is just to recalibrate around what your expectations of a social platform like Instagram should be right now. Now, the other thing, and I think this is something this I think is a little bit personal. It's based on your audience behavior, all of those things. But I actually don't use my Instagram as a real lead generation tool. I use my Instagram as a marketing tool. And so when it comes to building my audience and to building my follower count, I'm really focusing on engaging in other places like podcast interviews, guest teaching, things like that. and then using those tools to bring people in to follow me on Instagram. So by the time people are following me on Instagram, they are likely more engaged and excited about what I'm doing, which is I have found a faster way. So I've thrown the idea of organic Instagram growth in the garbage because it feels like a lot more work and a lot more content creation that I have time or desire to participate in. And I think about it that way. Then from there, I think you ask a really important nuance to this, right? Because there's the top level. How do I bring more people in? How do I get more followers? But then how do I actually get those followers on my email list, get those followers on to buy my products, so on and so forth. So from there, if you're bringing in those leads in more pull ways, where you're pulling them in through workshops, through visibility, through strategies like that, then what most people are missing the boat on is actually talking about their emails and their email list and their freebies much more than you think you should be. I, in the past 6 months or so, started to really focus on converting my Insta followers to my email list. And I have posted at least 3 of my posts per week. I typically post 5 times per week. At least 3 of my posts per week have actually been call to action, get this freebie, sign up for strategy snacks or something else. And that is been hugely successful in driving more people to my list because just talking about the freebie sometimes isn't enough. Only talking about offers, I've personally found it really difficult to just sell through Instagram. Again, there are people who can do this. So that's one thing. And then the other piece is obviously around your audience, right? Is your audience on Instagram? Now, I do think that the mom audience is often on Instagram and it can be a good place to connect with them. And this is where just like personal note, personalized to you, Tina, is that it is very possible that you are potentially not connecting with the right people, right? It's very possible that you have people who are in your space, quote unquote, like other parenting coaches who are following you, who you're following, but you actually need to figure out how you're getting in front of the moms who are maybe just who work full-time jobs or who are not in any sort of coaching space, because I think sometimes we tend to follow a lot of people like us, and then that tends to keep putting us in front of more people like us who are not our ideal clients. So Tina, make sure that you are getting in front of your ideal clients as well. So just to recap quickly, we want to talk about a couple things when we talk about Instagram growth. One is if you really want to double down on Instagram growth, make sure you find someone who is a true expert in Instagram growth. But before you make that decision, make sure that you're thinking about the distinction between push marketing and pull marketing, right? So that you are actually taking the steps to pull people into your world. That is super, super important. Second thing, think about other ways that you can bring people into your Instagram and really leverage what I would call like outside in audience growth. And then third thing is really make sure that it is that you're talking to the right audience and that you are in front of the right audience and that your content is getting pushed out in front of the right audience. So, Tina, thank you so much for dropping in this question. It was great to answer it, great to think about it. I know that Instagram is a thing that is on so many people's minds. And so I'm so happy to be able to dive into this, share my thoughts, my experience. Anyone listening, if you have comments, anything, please let us know. Please DM me. In the show notes for today's episode, you will have links to follow Tina. So if you are a mom who is struggling, feels the rage, feels all the feels, definitely connect with Tina to find out more about that. And on my end, make sure that you have my latest freebie, 37 Stupid Easy Ways to Grow Your Revenue Without Being Salesy. All the links will be dropped in the show notes below. If you would like your question featured on Strategy Snacks, there's also a link to that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here and for listening. I'm Frenchie Frenzy. I am a business strategist and advisor, and I will be back with more soon. Bye.